All right, I'm getting it live streamed up on Facebook as well. People are joining. Welcome, everybody. We're just going to give it a couple minutes for people to join us. Thank you for spending your lunch with us on this sunny day. Kind of made that a question because I'm not sure it's going to quite stay like that.
Is that going to be one of your poll questions, Jen?
Yeah. What are the chances? But as we're getting people logged on to the webinar, we want to just have a little bit of fun. So I am going to start a poll for everybody. We have a couple questions. Our first question, how much fresh produce does FoodShare distribute on an annual basis in pounds? You have a couple options below, so please choose what you think poundage-wise FoodShare distributes on an annual basis. 9 million, 6 million are a couple of the front runners, 3 million. We also have a 1 million in there. Give it a couple more minutes and then I'll share the right answer. Monica, we got some pretty smart people on this webinar. Like they know us.
And I see that people are joining us. How many people are we scheduled to?
We have 120 people registered to join us today, Monica. It's pretty fantastic. So the number one answer, we have a tie between 6 million and 9 million, with 3 million coming in after that. Nobody voted for the 1 million. The correct answer is 9 million pounds, just over 9 million pounds of produce that we distribute on an annual basis, which accounts for 36% of the total food we distribute. It's pretty incredible. We love, love, love our fresh produce. Let's do another one because you all had so much fun with that one. Of that 9 million pounds of produce, what was the number one donated produce item to FoodShare? So all the produce that we brought in and distributed, what was the number one item that we were donated to FoodShare? We have strawberries, oranges, potatoes, avocados, and celery. What does everyone think?
We're having more people join us, which is great. You haven't missed anything. We're just filling the time while you're all taking your seats.
Want to make sure you don't miss a thing. All right, let's see the results. So the number one donated produce item to FoodShare is correct. It's oranges. Congratulations to the 12 of you who voted for oranges. Interestingly enough, the number one produce item that is distributed of that 9 million pounds is actually potatoes, but oranges is the number one item that we get donated to us. So very good job. All right, last one before we get started. We just want to see how you came to us. What is your FoodShare connection? Just so we know who we have on the call. A lot of great information that we're going to be sharing with you. But are you a donor, a volunteer, a friend of FoodShare, a staff member, or one of our pantry partners? Or if you're new here and just looking to learn more about what we do and how we serve this community, we're going to share all of it today. But we just kind of want to know who we have on the call.
And why don't we give this just a little bit of time, Jen? I see the participants number growing.
It is. We have more people jumping on. Thanks
like,
again for joining us.
Why do you start on time? What kind of food bank you running over there?
Pretty good one. I think we're going to share with them anyway. All right, what do we have? So we have a really good mixed bag, which is so fantastic. We have some donors and volunteers, friends, staff, pantry partners, and then a couple newbies looking to see what we do over here at FoodShare.
That's a great mix.
That's perfect. Great mix.
I don't think we need to change our presentation then, Jen.
I think we're good. Okay, good. Thank you. Before we get started, we just wanted to share a couple of helpful tips. At the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A button. Monica and I are hoping that we cover all that needs to be covered today, but we do know that some questions might pop up, and we'd love to be able to answer those at the end of the webinar. So please do use that Q&A box. Also, I know Monica will do this at the end as well. But any questions that we weren't able to answer, we'd love to invite you in for a tour. That's an open invitation between Monica and myself. Come in, check us out, see our mission in action here in Oxnard at our 36,000 square feet facility. So please come in. We are recording this webinar. It's also being live streamed on Facebook, so we can share with you afterwards and those that weren't able to make it on. So that is being recorded. And then our contact information is below. Please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us anytime that you have questions. So without further ado, I'd love to be able to introduce you to our president and CEO, but I'm going to go off script here, Monica. Sorry, I have to. I'm going to go off script a little bit. Not just our president and CEO, but the Pacific Coast Business Times just came out with their 2023 Top Women in Business. And for the 4th year in a row, our very own Monica White was named Top Women in Business. So congratulations, Monica. Yay!
Thank you, Jen. All right. Is it over to me now?
It is over to you.
Okay, great. Let's go to our first slide, please. Actually, one of the things that that we wanted to share with you, though, is that so we brought back Food for Thought. That is our luncheon tour with the CEO that we're doing every single month. And in an effort to be able to meet everyone else's busy schedules, we've really rotated when we're holding these Food for Thoughts. So we've already had lunch. We're going to do a breakfast one. We're going to do a cocktail one in the late evening or early evening, I mean. And then we're also doing this virtual one. And it looks like already this one is scoring higher in the availability for everyone. But just to reiterate what Jen was saying, please come in and come to one of the Food for Thoughts, or ask us for we'll do a personal tour. That is not a problem at all, because everybody who comes in, they all say the exact same thing. I had no idea. They don't understand the scope of the operation of what actually Food Share is. And so that is leading into this next slide of how Food Share works. We always like to start with this. We have this big, huge graphic of this in our lobby to be able to help all of our visitors, our volunteers, our donors, anybody who comes in, so they can understand, how does Food Share work? What's the difference between a food bank and a food pantry? So how Food Share works is we bring in food from a variety of different sources. We purchase about 20% of our food. We also hold food drives. I think last year we held over 500 individual food drives. Those could be Girl Scouts, that can be corporations, it could be businesses, organizations, anybody who wants to come get those wonderful yellow barrels to be able to source food for us. We are there to be able to help them hold their food drive. And then retail stores, we pick up from every single retail store in Ventura County. Practically every single day, there is somebody picking up some of the food, whether that's one of our pantry partners that is picking up directly and bringing it back to their pantry, or one of our volunteer drivers or one of our staff drivers picking up from the retail stores food that they no longer can sell, but it's still good. So we call it rescue. We bring it back in. And when you come in for Food for Thought, we can show you then what happens with that food as we put it through the rescue sorting area and what needs to be done in order to be able to get it back out to those who are in need. And then we also work with our ag partners. I'd love to include the Port of Hueneme in as one of the ag partners, because we literally get a ton of pineapple and bananas, as you can imagine, from the port. Whenever there is an extra or an excess or a missed shipment, whatever it is, we're on speed dial for them. They'll pick it up from us, and we'll pick it up from them and get it out to those who are in need. And then gleaning, as many of you may know, we started out as a gleaning organization, meaning we were picking the excess fruit and vegetables that was available in the farms, but also now in people's backyards or orchards, all volunteer run, but we do get a good amount of oranges, as you can imagine, from Ventura County residents who are willing to be able to give the fruit from their yards to Food Share. And then we also have the contract for the government with USDA. And so that food comes in, and then it goes out. All of that comes in and goes out through a variety of programs. Jen's going to cover a little bit in depth about what all these programs are, but Everything down below there is about 190 different nonprofits that we work with to be able to get food to them at no cost whatsoever. We don't charge a shared maintenance fee. We don't charge delivery fees. We feel it is our responsibility to be able to source as much food, nutritious food as possible, and be able to get it out through all of these programs. So I'll wait to be able to talk a little bit about those programs when Jenn jumps in. But moving on to, I love to be able to share with you a little bit about our history. We are in our 45th year. Starting in 1978, it actually was started, Jewel and John Petty in their garage, collecting food from the fields. They would literally follow the tractors to be able to glean food that was still good to be able to get out to those who are in need. Started in that 2-car garage, quickly outgrew that. They moved into a fire station in Saticoy in 1982. $1 a month is what our lease was. Soon outgrew that and moved into where we are today, 1985. We moved there, outgrew that building, bought the building across the street. We have expanded both buildings and actually even have leased an additional facility since COVID. An additional 10,000 square feet. But we love this picture down here at the bottom. This is the picture from 1985, all of the volunteers and staff in front of the building. And then I can't even do the math on this, 40 years later, it's seeing the staff that are there now. You can't tell, but we are all wearing masks and we're socially distanced, that's 6 feet apart.
Yeah. Monica, I love when you share this, the 1978, the very first year we distributed 34,000 pounds of food. Now what do we do?
Last year, it was almost 19 million pounds of food. So I think we've done the math and it's like we do that in 2 hours now or
2
so.
hours. Yeah, that's my
right.
favorite.
But that was some hard gleaning to be able to do for that 34,000 pounds. So
definitely.
All right, so we actually just completed a hunger study. This is the first study that we have done in many years. I believe the last one that we did was in 2008, but we completed a study to be able to come in and actually look at the state of hunger in Ventura County. And while we're not going to be releasing absolutely everything that is in that, because I don't want to bore you to death, we are going to give you some highlights of what FoodShare did in the last year. This is calendar year 2022. This number actually surprised all of us. As you can recall, when we knew that when we had COVID and the numbers were going up, we really thought that we were going to be heading into a downward trend. And we're seeing actually the opposite. So in 2022, we served 261,000 people. If you look back to pre-COVID, that was at about 92,000. We track all of this numbers through Pantry Track. All of our agencies are on the same system. So we're able to see unduplicated numbers, which is just amazing to us, but matches the amount of food that we are also distributing. So this comes to our new estimate that 1 in 4 people in Ventura County are using the FoodShare network of pantries, programs, and be able to get food assistance through FoodShare. And so a little bit deeper into those numbers of what these look like. We talked about the 261,000. Just to give a little bit of perspective, there's 839,000 people in Ventura County, which means 31% of Ventura County was served last year through FoodShare's network of partners. We have 350 different locations where we are distributing food through the variety of programs. We have 150 different food donors. That could be anything from Sam's Club to the meat market, the 4-way meat market in Oxnard. So anybody who has food, we are collecting and distributing from them. Last year, we distributed 18.5 million pounds of food. And when we convert that into meals, it's 1.2 pounds of food equals 1 meal. And so that's a little over 15 million meals were provided last year. And then we have a new statistic that we have been working with, that if we were to take all of that 18.5 million pounds of food and we would had to go to the store, to a grocery, pay retail for all of this, what would that value be? And it's 55 million pounds. Sorry, dollars. Pounds. $55 million worth of food is being distributed out to those in need in Ventura County. So it's quite an impactful, an amazing number, to say the least. So talk about hunger relief in action. We have a couple of programs that Jenn is going to take over from here and talk a little bit so I can take a sip of water.
Thanks, Monica. So COVID really changed our method of operations. These drive-through distributions weren't part of food banking here in Ventura County. And all of our pantry partners really couldn't sustain and adequately handle the drastically increased number when COVID happened. So we started these drive-through distributions. It will actually be 3 years on Saturday since we've been doing these drive-through distributions. This week we'll hit our 950th drive-through distribution, and that totals 557,000 emergency food boxes. It's a pretty substantial need. Our biggest drive-through then and still is our College Park distribution. In fact, at 2 o'clock today, you would be able to replicate this exact photo that was taken 2 years ago. 900 cars will double line College Park here in Oxnard. We have 75 volunteers showing up on site today to be able to distribute about 1,100 emergency food boxes, which serves about 5,500 individuals. Again, this happens every single Wednesday. I think, Monica, when we first started this distribution, we're like, okay, let's plan on 90 days. And here we are 3 years later, continuing this weekly food distribution at College Park in Oxnard. We'll be there for however long we feel the need is there. We have pantries in the nearby area that we're trying to help so they can get the need. We're supplying them with commercial refrigerators, carts, trailers, whatever it may be. But we're still seeing a significant need, 900 cars. It really is significant. And Monica will talk a little bit later about what we're doing future-wise to be able to sustain that need. We also found a bit of the emergency food boxes are fantastic, but we were able to pivot with what the need was that we weren't quite thinking about. We received some feedback from our friends at the county, their Continuum of Care program, and our unhoused friends had difficulty using the food inside those emergency food boxes. You needed a can opener, you needed water, you needed the stove, and those items they didn't have access to. So we started this kitchen free program where everything inside this bag is ready to eat, hence the word kitchen free. It has pop tops ready to go, packets, crackers, applesauce, everything in there, again, ready to eat. And it has been a very successful program that we've been able to launch. We've distributed just over 35,000 kitchen free bags since its inception 3 years ago. We distribute these bags through our pantry partners that are already serving that population. And we've received tremendous feedback from this program, and they really love it. Another huge need now before continuing is our farm worker population. They're incredible. I drive by them every single morning on Central on my way into work. And especially these past 2 months, what seems like constant rain, they are out there continuing to do their job to make sure that there is fresh, healthy produce on our tables. So they're just absolutely incredible. And what we found, even with our additional drive-through distributions, is they weren't always able to make the times. Our regular pantries, our drive-through distributions, they start work relatively early and they end relatively late. So our hours of operation for some of those pantries just didn't work within their schedule. So we contacted a lot of our local farms, and we've been doing direct distributions right there where they work. We've also added, in partnership with Procter & Gamble, some feminine care products as well. This just allows them to get the support they need where they need it. And it's just been an incredibly helpful program for our farm workers. We also have a senior program. We have a wonderful senior kit program here. This program is for eligible seniors age 60 and older under the federal poverty income level. Each box, you can see there, our Miss Sue left, our wonderful volunteer, she's about to put the box through the tape machine, has a little sticker on it. That's actually a prescription. So all of this was designed by a nutritionist at the state level It's about a 35-pound box of shelf-stable food that an eligible senior is able to receive once a month. We do about 30 distributions a month all around the county directly to them. We go to senior centers, senior living complexes to be able to get them this box. We're distributing about 3,000 boxes a month. All of this information, and if you have somebody that you know is eligible and that needs it, is all available on our website, foodshare.com. You can get more information on how to sign up. And then Monica, I am going to turn it back over to you.
I love that you plugged about how to help people. And one of the things that we didn't include in here, but has been so instrumental during COVID over the last couple of years, is when we launched our app. That we actually have an app if you on Google and for on the iPhone App Store, if you FoodShare Ventura County, and on there's a function called Find Food Now, and you can actually help someone else as well. So we have found that it's the number one function on that app of that you can click on it and you can find what is open and a food distribution right now within 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles within your direct location. It's so amazing that they can do that. So you can find a hot meal site, you can find a pantry, a senior distribution, whatever that is. So we always love to be able to share with people. Make sure you download it and you can be a help to someone as well. So yes, so the need continues. I wish I could be sharing something new with you this year at this Food for Thought town hall, but the need is obviously still continuing. We had a wonderful coverage about a new a situation that has arose in the past few months, and that the federal benefits for CalFresh, which is food stamps, was drastically reduced. Actually, I think yesterday was the last day that everyone was going to be receiving these. During COVID, there was a increase in food stamps that was available in Ventura County. There's 75,000 people who receive food stamps. There was an increase. And so 3 years later, we knew this was coming. We've been bracing for this, but we knew it was going to stop at some point. So the last month was this month. And so we are expecting now an additional amount of people who will be coming in seeking food assistance because their actual amount that they're going to be receiving on their debit card that they go to the store has been drastically reduced. It really is dependent on their situation. Seniors may be hit more than others, but we just know that across the board, food stamps benefits have been reduced. We're so fortunate to be able to get the good coverage, to be able to, be able to share with people who need food where they can go for help and support, but then also be able to, of course, ask our community for support, because what does that mean to FoodShare? That means we need to be able to source more food. And how do we source more food? We ask for more donations, but usually what it comes down to is we purchase more food. Pre-COVID, we were purchasing about $50,000 a month worth of food. That shot up to about $250,000 per month. We have settled back down, but it's still nowhere near the pre-COVID amount. So it's still at around $160,000 a month, I believe, is the amount that we are purchasing food to be able to put into those farm worker boxes, to be able to put into the kitchen free bags, into the emergency food boxes. Those 557,000 it's all purchased food because we need to make sure it's the right food to be able to get into their hands. So given that, we are also really excited to be able to share that we are going to be expanding. FoodShare is going to be building a bigger, newer, larger community hunger relief center, a new food bank. It's in Oxnard. We have purchased this land that you see here behind me. I'm so excited to be able to share this in the picture. It's 7 acres, and we are going to be building a new food bank. We'll be all under one roof. There is so much more to come on this, but for our people today, I just wanted to be able to give you just a little glimpse of an exciting thing that we're working on. As you can imagine, there is much to do on this project. It's many years in the making. if in the future, we have a lot of money to raise, we have a lot of building to design, a lot of people to hire to help us with this, but more to come. And as you can imagine, many of you who are on here, you'll be hearing from us. We will be happy to be able to share more about this project as we get a little bit closer and to be able to share it out even more. So that is
very
how,
exciting.
yes, that's how we are planning to be able to meet the future need.
So we want to give you some time to be able to type some questions into the box. So while you're doing that, I have one more fun poll for you. Do our last one. So last year, FoodShare distributed just over 19 million pounds of food. What is the estimated retail value of that food?
Like a test.
Yeah, I know, right? Were you paying attention? Always helpful. But we got we got a lot of people that were paying attention. That's so fantastic. Give it just a second. And then also please start typing in your questions to the Q&A box. We got a couple already. Want to make sure that we get everything. All right. $59 million. And we did that with a $2.5 million food purchasing budget. So we have some incredible purchasing power to be able to purchase food in bulk. And we did that with just $2.5 million. All right, Monica, are you ready for some questions? I promise they aren't hard.
No, I am happy to, but I just want to clarify something really quick because I just realized we had 55 million on the other one, and that's because it was our fiscal year, and our fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th. And then, but we also pulled the numbers from 2022, so it's actually gone up since the end of the fiscal year. So just to clarify.
Yeah. So our first question comes from Joni. 261,000 people seems like an incredible number that you're feeding. How do you know?
Yeah, hi, Joni. Yes, we so Pantry Track. Pantry Track is our system. All of our partners are on this system. And so when someone goes in to check in at a food pantry, what they do is they sign in. They don't have to give very much information at all. We really like to be able to keep it as stress-free as possible. But we do ask for their name, their address, how many people are in their household. And that's the way that we're able to capture the unduplicated number. Now, if that person goes to another pantry, because we're all in the same system, they only get counted once. So that 261,000, they could have gone to one of the pantries once in that year, or they could have gone to a different pantry every week for the entire year, but they're only counted once. I hope that helps answer that question.
I'm going to combine these two questions, one from Hannah, one remain anonymous. So where in Oxnard will your new location be? And is FoodShare planning on having a groundbreaking event for the new Hunger Relief Center?
Yes, so it's in Oxnard. It is at Woolley and Rose. It is an empty lot, as you saw in the picture. And yes, of course, we will be having a groundbreaking ceremony as soon as we're a little bit closer. As soon as we have a little bit more, we have a lot to do before we get to that. But I promise you will all be invited. There's enough room for entire Ventura County to be on this plot of land for a shindig.
Next question. Can you tell us about your various volunteer opportunities?
That's great. Jen, do you want to take this one?
Absolutely. So thank you, Sean, for asking the question. We have some incredible volunteer opportunities, many that you saw in the program. So those senior kits, those take volunteers to be able to pack those. The emergency food boxes, volunteers to pack those. The kitchen free bags, you guessed it, volunteers to pack those. And then that College Park distribution that is happening today takes 75 volunteers just for that distribution every single week. We have a lot of various volunteer opportunities. We even have a garden here on site. So if you like being outdoors and you have a bit of a green thumb, that's an amazing place to be able to pack. And our Director of Volunteer Services, Christina and Jenny, they would love to welcome you to our facility or out at one of our distributions. So if you go to foodshare.com/volunteer, you can check out all of the volunteer opportunities. Or if you're looking to bring your corporate group, your work group, we can also create a special event on a special day and time for you guys as well. So we'd love to have you come join us. Next question. What is the relationship between FoodShare, Food Forward, and Manna?
That's a good question. So we work with every hunger relief organization in Ventura County. Manna has decided to not accept food from us, and for whatever reason that was. We're working with them since they moved into their brand new facility. We have been trying really hard to be able to further that relationship, and we're getting very close. But they do all of our pantries and all of our agencies. They do their own fundraising as well, and that is that because they have their own costs beyond the food as well. So Manna does that separately. Food Forward, we work with Food Forward. We take deliveries from them. They actually work at a lot of farmers markets. They do a lot of gleaning. We work in conjunction with their gleaning teams. If we get a orchard that we couldn't possibly, rescue all of it, we connect with Food Forward. They bring in their volunteers. So we all work very closely together because we all have the same mission of hunger relief. But some of them are under our umbrella, and some of them, such as Manna, are not. But we all still work very closely together.
This is a fantastic question. Given the continuation of demand post-COVID, which is the opposite of what was anticipated, it appears the trend will continue rising. With the addition of CalFresh rolling off, what concerns do you have given the increased demand?
Our that's a really good question. Was that a board member?
No, it wasn't. Thank you, Roland.
Our concern is, what keeps me up at night is people not knowing that there are services available for them, that there is food available, and that, working with those 190 different nonprofits, all of those pantries, there is food available in every single city in Ventura County. And there's also those direct distributions and the drive-throughs. But it always concerns me if somebody who is unwilling to be able to perhaps ask for support because of a fear of whatever it is, that is it a government program? Is this going to be a threat to my family? We understand that. And that's part of the reason that we don't ask for all of that information. So that to me is my number one concern. But then also, of course, running the organization, we have to ensure that we raise the $8 million that we need for our operating expenses every year. And now that we've added this new layer of expanding for feeding our future. Of course, that is also going to be another thing that we're going to have concerns about. But we feel very strongly that we're going to be able to meet the need and continue to be able to serve anybody who needs food in Ventura County.
And to help you sleep better, Monica, so it doesn't keep you up at night, you always like to say, given after every webinar or tour or whatever it may be, is now you're ambassadors. We've filled you with all of this wonderful information. So now we turn to you to help us be ambassadors. Download the app so you can help people when you're out and about. Bring people in for a tour. Bring people in to volunteer. So you are now our food share ambassador, so you can help us achieve our mission and to feed many more people. I have another question from Kathy. The recent rain, although very much needed, has been devastating to many farms and farm workers. Are you providing any relief to them? And we touched on that a little bit.
We did. And the answer is yes. One of the things that we're actually working on as we speak is that through Feeding America that we are part of, we've gotten a really wonderful grant in conjunction with the Food Bank of Santa Barbara. It's called Boundless Collaborations, to be able to focus just on our farm workers. Farm workers is one of our key pillars, along with seniors and students in our strategic plan that we just completed. And so we know that is something that we must address, and that we must be able to provide culturally relevant, important foods that they want. So in this hunger study that we completed as well, we also asked what kind of foods are the most important. We talked to all of our pantry partners. What is it that your clients are looking for? And so in order for us to be able to stay relevant for the clients and the people that we are serving, we just need to keep asking questions. We need to keep listening. We need to keep understanding what is the need, and we'll be there as the food people of Ventura County. We are going to serve whoever it is and however they need that.
Yeah. We're getting some great questions. With an $8 million operating budget, where do you get that revenue from?
Yes, they are asking lots of questions. So $8 million, about a third of it comes from government. So we are the recipients of the TFAP. It's called the Emergency Food Assistance Program. It's food for low-income families or individuals. That food comes in and they give us a little bit of money to pay for that. And then another third comes from individuals. Mr. and Mrs. Smith give us $10 a month. We love them. Some of them give $100 a month. We love them too. And then also the other part comes from grants from organizations, foundations, corporations. Christy Pollard is our grants director and does a fabulous job of working with all of those organizations to be able to, if there is a grant out there for food or hunger relief, we know about it. We are applying for it. And so we leave no stone unturned when it comes to any additional funds or any funds to be able to reach that $8 million every year.
I have another question here. Do the senior boxes come with fresh produce?
Yes. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. You can't ask me questions I don't know the answer
I know,
to.
so no, and that's also another volunteer opportunity is packing for produce boxes. I mean, because the produce that comes into our warehouse comes in bulk, whether we purchase it or it's donated. So in order to get it out quicker, we found that building the produce boxes for our agencies and for these distributions is A, it's easier to get out quicker, and B, we're able to do a mixed box versus just a pallet of celery. We can put celery and broccoli. There was a huge pallet of carrots in our warehouse today. They were beautiful. So that's another volunteer opportunity that we've started, is actually packing produce boxes to make them a mixed box. And they go out to our pantries, they go out to our Wednesday College Park distributions, and they also go out with our senior boxes as well. So it's just another thing that we're able to add in thanks to our amazing volunteers and then our relationships with the farms and growers around here. All right, last question, because everyone has been so kind in sharing your lunch break with us, but we know that you have a busy day. This is from Sandy. I'm already a monthly donor, but the need seems so great. How else can I help?
Oh, thank you, Sandy, for asking that. We always say there are 3 things that you can help us. We need your food, we need your hours, and we need your dollars. And it really is the combination of all 3 of those that makes Food Share run like a awesome machine that it is. That if you would like to be able to do all 3, then you're my new best friend. But we get it. We understand that some people don't have time to volunteer. So they write a check. That is fabulous. Some people say, I know how to get you more food. That is fantastic as well. But really, it's the combination of all 3 of those, food, funds, and hours. That we absolutely need. It's how we run. It's how we've run for the last 45 years. But with all of that, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Ventura County. And so we thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I had no idea you were going to ask me this many questions.
And just as a reminder, this is
awesome.
Being recorded, so we are going to share it with you afterwards. It'll get emailed. We'll also throw it up on our webpage so you can share with others as well.
And so thank you. Hey, come in for food for thought. Come in for a tour. Sign up on foodshare.com. Come say hi. We would love to see you. And thank you so much for joining us today.